Hey there, Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, Gemini Rising. It's Maggie from Moon Directed. Welcome to my channel. Here we work with the energy of the moon to see how we can best utilize it to move our life forward in the most positive way possible. I'm going to ask you right now to go ahead and hit that thumbs up button because it helps to connect our energy so that when I try to get into your energy throughout this reading, it will more likely resonate for you. I'll be able to tap in. I was trying to get into your energy before this. I just turned on the cameras and I saw the most interesting thing. Before I get to that, I do want to remind you this is good for your sun, your moon, and your rising, but if it's not resonating, be sure to check out those other ones. And I have moved the astrology part of it to its own separate video. It is already out. I will put the link below, and the actually I'll put it in the comment section so it's easier to find, and you can go ahead and check that out. For that is for February 1st through the 9th. Okay, so wow, when I was getting into your energy, what I saw, first off, I felt like right here in the kind of like a panic attack happening right here near the heart center. And then what I saw was you were standing on a ledge trying to decide whether or not to leap. And as I pulled out further, I noticed it was just kind of gray, misty, and cloudy. And then I pulled back further and I realized you actually had your back up against the mountain. And so the option to continue to climb higher was possible, but the path you were on had ended. And there was a path that had wound around all the way to get you to where you were on the mountain. If you want to get to the peak, you're going to have to climb it on your own, like rock climbing. Or you can take the leap of faith and step off and see what's out there. And I don't know what to tell you that was. So hopefully we'll get some advice on this. If that is resonating for you, please let me know. Because when I turned on the camera, I was still kind of feeling that energy. And I was like, wow, this is intense. I feel like there is a big decision and you feel like you're kind of between a rock and a hard place. Like the choices both look difficult. So let's just see what we get for that. We do have a full moon coming up on February 8th, which is Saturday, or on February 9th, Eastern Standard Time at 2:33 a.m. So depending on where you are in the world, you'll have to do your own calculations for that because I think we've all decided I can't do that. Dyslexia gets me every time. So check your local listings for what time your full moon is, but I did want to play some cards for that full moon, and you have, wow, okay. You have for the full moon, and full moon's all about releasing, and it says, what do you need to release? And the energy is gaining momentum. But one of them is a waning, and the other one's a waxing, and so I feel like it's kind of like the full moon, like, what do you need to release so that you could start gaining the energy as it starts waxing and building for the next phase of it. So what do you need to release in order to get to where it is you want to go? Actually, though, waxing brings you up to the full moon, and waning is after the full moon. So, the energy's been building, I just heard. The energy's been building. You're at the point of release coming up this week. So, this is where you are right now. The energy is building. What do you need to release? What do you need to let go of? Your sense of control over a certain situation. Yeah, the path has ended. So, whatever this is, the path is ended, but you still have two options. That they just look really, really difficult. All right, so let's get into the cards for this week. This is the mid-month update. It's February, so it's actually 2 weeks, February 1st through the 17th. And the overall energy is that of the observer. The observer is taking a step back and looking at things from a very objective point of view of, did I get it too low? Lighting is always hard, and it was really sunny a little bit ago, and now the clouds are coming in. There you go. All right, so you see how he's peering from a distance? It's like almost observing your emotions and how do you feel about it, right? Because the moon, represents the emotions, and it is in the waning position. So as your emotions are, if you step back, then the intensity of the emotions are not so strong, and you can be more objective in your observation of what's going on. So in the 9-card spread, we do past, present, future, thoughts, feelings, actions. I do have clarifiers for each of them, but this card right here in the center is the key to the situation. All the cards are represented by a Lenormand house. So what you have here is you're between worlds. You are between worlds. It was interesting, though, because it came in the reverse, which means you think the back, looking backwards, like it was better back there, and the future looks cloudy and misty, and it really resembles that cloudy misty is what I basically saw looking around the mountain. And so I'm not surprised that you're like, I want to go back, and that might be an option. I'm not telling you can't, but you're at the end of some kind of a road on something. You can go up, you can take the leap of faith, and maybe the key is that you can also return. So in the recent past, you were trying to figure out what was going to make you happy. Where is the happiness found? In the happy, happy card, there is the key. She holds the key to her happiness, and that's the truth. We hold the key to our happiness, right? Oftentimes we think somebody else has it, and when we discover, but it's in the reverse. So when we discover that we hold the key to our happiness, when we realize that we can take control of our life and we can do things to make us happy, that is when we are free to fly forward in the arena of transformation. In the arena of transformation, you have exchanging gifts. So in the exchanging gifts card, it is about the give and the take, the balance. So if you've been taking more than you've been giving, then it's time to reverse that. If you've been giving more than you're taking, it's time to reverse that. Whatever it is that's going on here, it is an opportunity to transform your life through bringing things back into balance. And in this Between Worlds card, there's a balance that needs to be found. Really don't understand why it's in the reverse. Hold on. We're going to clarify that a little bit because I want to understand what they're trying to tell you as far as should you be looking forward or should you be going back? Because if the future looks misty and cloudy, I do know that you can create what you want. And since balance needs to be sought in order to transform your life, let's just see what we get here. You can solve any problem naturally and effortlessly. Proceed with courage and intelligence. Let soft control hard. Do not fight the powers that can destroy you. Ride with the opposing forces until the right moment to act. So it feels like a pause, a wait, while you decide when's the right moment to act. Okay, so in the future, doing things by the book, doing things, there's going to be a lot of opportunity. Oh, crossing your T's, dotting your I's with Mercury going into retrograde. It's gone into shadow on the 2nd of February, so you're watching this probably on the 3rd or later. When Mercury goes into shadow and then it goes retrograde on the 16th, which is 2 weeks from today, it's Sunday when I'm recording. And so that will be, things are really starting to slow down. It's really time to pay attention to the details. And so in order to have an abundance of success, also your thoughts are going to be about, there's an abundance of thoughts, there's an abundance of energy and effort that's going to need to be put into making sure you're doing things in the proper way. Capricorn has so much energy over this whole year, and it is about, and I believe that Mars is now in Capricorn, so the action is definitely about being organized, doing things in a very ritualistic, by-the-book manner in order to be productive. Okay, so now we have a change in the wind in the past in the area of anxieties and doubts and questions, and so it's in the reverse, and so I think you have been fighting the change. I think that the key right to the situation right now is you keep looking back and you're delaying this change, but according to this card, that is not necessarily a wrong thing. This is about bringing yourself back into balance before you make a move. Bringing yourself into balance, making sure that you have the things in order that need to be in order before you make the move, taking the observer's role, stepping back, looking at the situation from a distance, and being very methodical, very analytical, which is one of your superpowers. But Mercury in retrograde, your sign being ruled by Mercury, is going to create this need to be extra careful, extra thorough in what's going on, because it's going into water, and air and water are not a really great combination, right? And so that's going to make it difficult. But here in your heart space, you have co-create. You have co-create with the wisdom and the knowledge that you have already gained. You have the Jaguar here, which is about going the distance. Oh, if I could only get this light right. There you go. See the owl sitting on the wire? You can go the distance. With wisdom, with the knowledge integrated, I think you just need to, when you know it's the right time, when you have things organized in a very particular manner, then I think that's when you know it's time to move forward and you could step into the change that needs to occur here. Okay, in the past, the obstacle has been this regeneration. This, you're having difficulty, you see the leaves sprouting out of that tree that was obviously run over by a volcano. It's been a struggle. Like, I know I need to make change. This is what I see. I need to make change in order to bring happiness into my life, but there's been a delay. There's been a stagnation. And this exchanging gifts, this feels like you need to get things balanced in your life, either with the person that you're trying to create the change with, or the job situation, or it's really kind of hard to say what situation that's happening in. Let's see, that full moon is happening in your third house? Yes, your third house of communications, which doesn't help us at all. And Aquarius is happening in your ninth house of long distance travel, higher education, higher knowledge. And so they're both about communication and things of the air, as far as the way the energy flows through it. So for me, this is hard to see what situation you need to communicate about with somebody in order to create change, but it's going to be really important. So if you're signing a contract, make sure you're really careful about what it says. I would try to get that done before the 16th, or wait until after the moon goes direct, which is it's 3 weeks in retrograde. So we're talking, I don't think it goes direct until like the first week of March, and then it's still in shadow for a couple of weeks. So yeah, so the current action right now is no action. You are in a waiting period for a reason. So if everything feels all stuck and stagnant, I think it's that way because this is your opportunity to take a step back and really take a good look. The momentum is building, but you're going to have to release something and let it go. And it might be not at this particular moment because you have the chop wood card, which is about doing the day-to-day business of activities to keep yourself busy, but it's in the reverse, which, are you exhausted and do you need a rest? Oh my gosh. Okay, in the future, you have the truth be told, and the truth be told is about speaking your truth. I'm putting it in the upright. It was in the reverse. I'm putting it in the upright because I want you to be really honest with yourself. I believe that's really important, that you know what your truth is. That being said, maybe not everybody needs to know all the details of what your truth is. So I think the clarity needs to come for you, and I honestly think that now that Mercury is going to be in retrograde, and this goes to Mercury goes retrograde on the 16th, and this is through the 17th. I think as we're slowing things down, you are going to be finding yourself keeping more and more to yourself, but co-creating in your heart what it is you want and getting things organized and figuring out where it is you're going, what it is you're going to do, how you're going to get there, being really meticulous, extra meticulous. Mercury in water is so unhappy. And so retrograding in water is really going to stir up some emotional stuff, and maybe you need to take it slow to get to where it is that you need. And so we have dream and journey. I think that before you can go off on this journey, before it is that you know, I think you need to spend some time. That Pisces energy is about the dreams, the big goals. So I think getting very clear in your heart about what it is that you want before you go exposing your heart to the world. Before you go telling anybody, get very clear and sit on it, and you will know. You will know when it's time to let the world in on it. But until then, I do think that you're being asked to keep things a little closer to the chest. You know, keeping some of the stuff here. So you have seek knowledge. There's still some information that you need that you don't have. Before you go out there and, so step back away from things and observe it from a distance and seek more information and guidance. So get in touch with Spirit, because co-create is where you create with Spirit. it is that what, you know, you came here with a plan, and Spirit is here to help you. And so, wow, this is fun. You have the Monkey. Experience all that life has to offer. Dream and journey. So, this could be something super mundane because we're talking about the 9th house, Aquarius being in the 9th house, travel, long distance travel. Maybe you are planning a big trip. Oh, please, if you are, and you have to buy tickets, try to do that before the 16th. Sooner better than later. Allow for delays. Don't make it a tightly packed schedule. Allow some space to, so don't make your connections too tightly orchestrated, because with Mercury in retrograde, things are going to not necessarily move at the speed of lightning that you would like. You know, air and water doesn't move that fast. So allow that thing to allow yourself the room and the space, but it looks like there's some kind of a journey that you want to take. It could be an actual physical journey. I'm very, very confused by your reading today. Please leave me a comment if you can explain to me what's going on, because all I can see is that you need more information and more guidance, and that now is not the time. But experience all that life has to offer feels like, all right, well, you have cooperate for the highest good of the community and accept your magnificence. So I think there's some kind of a role you're supposed to step into that is in teamwork, and that I think that it's going to bring you the joy and the happiness, because experience all that life has to offer. We have this happy that's up here in the reverse, and so I think you're being asked to go ahead and put the joy and the fun back into your life, especially because we have these clouds hanging over you, so to speak. I just keep hearing you've come to the end of the road, and I don't know what that means. There is something that you're doing that is not netting happiness for you, but maybe the change, and the change that you need to make to bring the happiness in, there might require getting some ducks in a row before you can do that, but you should be moving in the direction of bringing in the joy and the happiness to experience all that life has to offer. Okay, and to accept your magnificence, which means you are not stuck, you are not trapped in your role. You can co-create what it is that you want with Spirit. You have the power to do this, but it's going to take cooperation with others in order to make these changes, and so that's where the cooperation comes in. And so it's going to be an answer very meticulous about how they do things, and so it's going to require this very meticulous behavior from you to keep things everything organized as you go forward. This journey, it feels like the journey in a life path more than, for some of you, it could actually be travel, like going to go see something, going to Europe or something like that. But for some of you, it is you're at a new phase in your life, and the time to go isn't right now, but getting there is important. And so figuring out how to get there is going to be part of the work, probably during Mercury while everything's slowed down. So for the gemstones you have, I take the time for reflection and see life from a higher perspective, labradorite. And so there we have the observer being reiterated. Make sure you step back and take a look at your life. My body, my mind are in balance. I am healthy. Chrysocolla. Then again, we have this, right? The exchanging gifts, bringing yourself into balance. And then I have unlimited income doing what I love. I am successful in all of my pursuits. Emerald and the co-create. So yeah, there's some big change happening. It's a timing issue. So waiting for divine timing. My nose starts itching. Waiting for some divine timing. Something is not in place that needs to be in place. Keeping your eye on where it is you want to go. Stepping back and taking a look at what meticulous steps you can do to line it up to get yourself set up for success, as the energy is going to slowly be building. But what do you need to let go of in order to allow the energy to continue to grow? And maybe it's that fear of taking that leap into the unknown space. because going up seems really difficult, and it might be that you step off the ledge and actually you just land right on a path and it lights up before you. So, all right, well, there you go, Gemini. Good luck with all that. Let me know what's going on. I will be back here in 2 weeks to do the Pisces month, the Pisces season reading, but every week on Thursdays I will be putting up the astrological, I think a moon astrology report, so that you can see where the planets are and what they're doing and how that's going to affect your life. All right, you take care, and we'll talk soon.